And you do have all that wonderful beauty inside. Believe in yourself. Believe you are wonderful, and all those around you will too. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Lily High on Life. And we have another fabulous guest in the studio that we're going to talk to and learn a little bit more about. And our guest today is Rabbi Moshe Kahn. Moshe, welcome to Jair. Welcome to Lily High on Life.
Thank you. I am feeling high and I'm excited.
Well, what I love is that you're part of the Chabad movement. And Chabad is a group of Orthodox Jewish people who really believe in Torah v'simcha, Torah and joy. And that's what Lily High on Life is all about.
Well, Torah is synonymous with joy, and really you could only truly celebrate and live Torah with joy. So it's not just Chabad, it's Judaism is living a life to its maximum.
One would hope so. We don't always hear such wonderful reports about Orthodox people out of Israel sometimes and everything else. But coming out of a Chabad school myself, I know that that's what it's meant to be. And you are really the epitome of it. You've done some wonderful things since coming to Melbourne. You were born in Amsterdam, you grew up in London, you studied in Israel and in Canada, and you lived in Sydney, and then we were blessed to have you here in Melbourne. Tell us a little bit about the exciting things you're doing now.
Well, I think I'm the one blessed to be living in Melbourne. Melbourne is a great, great community, and my wife's a Melbourne girl, and it's wonderful to be married to a Melbourne girl, and now I consider myself today I'm a proud Australian. So
yay! I
love living here, and I think it's not something we could take for granted. So thank you, Australia, for your warmth and for your hospitality.
So all of these places you lived in, what's the difference that Melbourne in particular has for you that you find?
Well, I grew up in London, and with the greatest respect to London and England as a whole, I think Melbourne's got a warmth that London just, and England just doesn't have. English people are great, but I think Melbourne people, the Aussie bloke is just fair dinkum. So.
Really nice to hear. Now, you've taken upon yourself a really important and also really challenging role, because one of the other tenets of Chabad is to make everybody welcome, no matter how religious they are or if they're not religious at all, but welcome Jews back to Judaism. And you've specifically taken that role of being in charge of our youth. Tell us a little bit about what that entails and what some of the things you've done.
Well, I think one of the greatest gifts, that the Rebbe gave, which was the leader of the Chabad movement, was the absolute belief in every single human being and the potential of every single human being. Every person has got a spark, has got a soul, has got something that enables them to shine. And sometimes you just need to reveal that spark. You just need to allow it, give it room to glow, and it will shine. And I've been privileged, as you just mentioned, to work with young people, to work with youth, and been here now 20 years. Literally, August 18 was 20 years exactly. So,
wow.
Yeah. And it's really about engagement. It's about involvement. It's about inspiring and keeping that connectivity, keeping people connected, allowing them to meet other young people, allowing them to find that sense of belonging and saying, I belong to a community. And I think that's the most important and integral thing we could do with young people. Give them
yes, especially now with such long hours of focus on computers and tablets and so many other things. And because did you start with school youth and then expand upwards?
Well, Chabad Youth has really evolved. So it started off correct as with children and teenagers, really evolved then into university students, which then in turn to young adults, and now young families, and it's got the full gamut, the full offering of, when you say youth, it's a pretty wide and open-ended, spectrum in terms of how we define that word youth. But it's really about young people, young families, and my emphasis now is with the young families. I've got a wonderful, warm shul called Dominion, which is the shul of heart, the shul with soul, the shul of spirit, and the shul where all of you belong. And
Is that Friday night, Saturday, or during the week? Or
Friday night and Saturday, and then we do functions, events, shiurim classes, discussion groups, weekends away throughout the year.
Now, for people that have never met or spoken to a rabbi, and I know there are non-Jewish people as well who are listening, it really is just like a teacher or bringing people together. It's not a heavy focus on you have to become religious or orthodox or anything for you.
No, it's not. We're not here to judge or to dictate to others how and what to do. We're here to be a role model, lead by example, and show the warmth and the love and the light and the excitement and positivity. You're all about being happy. That's how you started off.
Yes.
You know, and the love, that was another thing. Everybody needs to be loved, if I heard your 2-minute intro correctly.
Yes.
And that is what we are about, is unconditional love, unconditional acceptance, and just showing people how beautiful it is and how great it is to live a meaningful, productive Jewish life.
And welcoming, I know I've traveled a lot on my own, and because I come from that Chabad background, I've always sought out synagogues, wherever I was in the world, and always felt at home there, because a Chabad synagogue in Melbourne is just like a Chabad synagogue in Bangkok or London or anywhere else. But at the same time, going to synagogue on your own and not knowing people or not having, and I'd been to synagogue, but many people may not, it can be a very lonely, daunting place, even for me, going in on my own. So how do you address that?
It's hard for me to address it on the global level. But on the local level here in Melbourne, I think it's imperative that every community, number one, the rabbi makes it his business to welcome every person that comes in to Dominion. I say this proudly: any person that comes to Dominion gets a personal welcome, you know, brought in, offered a siddur, a prayer book, shown, given a place to sit, etc. Made sure they have a place to go for lunch or dinner. You know, we also have a welcoming committee in our shul, so it's not just myself who's welcoming guests, but there's a few people who are designated to make sure that everybody feels a sense of belonging. And I agree to you. You know, it really could be daunting walking into sometimes a foreign environment, if you like, and it's really important that the community, the shul, the synagogue, makes every person that walks through those doors feel welcomed.
Now, Moshe, I asked you just before we started the interview, and I've met you a number of times, and you're always so sweet and unassuming, and if you weren't wearing a kippah, you would be like, nobody would know you're a rabbi, and I mean that in the nicest possible way.
Thank you.
So I really want to put it out there that if you haven't been to a service, what's the best way to get involved? Who would they contact? Where would be the best place for them?
I just think for the wider audience who's out there, you can find me on Facebook. You could go to Dominion, our website dominion.com, or yjp.org.au. that's youngjewishprofessionals.org.au. Chabad Youth, this Chabad Campus. If you're a university student, find us on the net.
Now, YJP, Young Jewish Professionals, I really want to focus on that for a moment, because what you've done, and I understand it's a model from the US, is absolutely brilliant, because so many, you've divided it up into different senior moment, whether people are in real estate or whether they're in fashion or whatever field they're in, there's a specific professional group, and you are bringing the best of the best speakers to talk to people. Well, for networking, which is so very important, but also to come together as Jews. Tell us a little bit more about how that model came together and how you're doing it, because on the website, yjp.org.au, you can go there and just see how wonderfully it's all set up.
Yeah, so YJP really has a few different primary offerings, if you like. And one of them, as you correctly said, is a mentor workshop offering where we offer different workshops around different specialties in terms of what may interest you. So it might be medicine, it might be, property development, it might be legal medicine. There's a full gamut of offerings, but really it's a touch point for engagement. So it's really about there's thousands of young people out there. We need to connect to them. And if it's going to take a legal workshop, then we'll run a legal workshop. If it's going to take property development, we'll run a property development workshop. As a matter of fact, coming up on the 12th, and there's already well over 100 people RSVP'd. When I checked right before the show, there was 120, which is quite exciting. And we've only been live for about 48 hours. So, and that is, we've got two, iconic Melbourne business people, Moshe Fried and Ruslan Kogan. And it's titled Brick versus Click, which is brick, well, should retailers be investing in properties and in physical edifices or structures?
Because Maury's the head of Spotlight.
Or should they do the Ruslan Kogan model, Kogan.com, and just have a virtual presence and just be online? And they'll be quite interesting. But and Kogan's
came out of Russia in pretty much from the same place that I did, and about the same age, and has really created something amazing.
Yeah, what Ruslan has done is extraordinary, and I think what's special is Ruslan wants to be once again connected back with YJP. It's Young Jewish Professionals. He's, it's not the first time we're having him talk for us. We had him probably about a year ago, and it'll be great to have him. And Maury's been a long-standing supporter and partner in what we've been doing.
Yeah, that community thing is so important, especially now where it's just so easy to be isolated. Now, the other thing that you created here that wasn't here before is an actual campsite.
Yes.
Tell us a little about that.
So another hat I wear is around Chabad Youth, and one of the larger programs or divisions of Chabad Youth is our summer and winter camps. We take 2,000 kids a year on camp. We had 600 over the winter. We had 1,300 over the summer, and then midterm we take smaller numbers, 100 or 100 plus. And we're now, believe it or not, gearing up already. We just finished winter, but we're already gearing up for our summer camp. And we used to have to rent a lot of sites, and a couple of years ago we went out to the community with this vision, with a dream. I had a dream, and the community was extraordinary. The way they rallied together, and we were able to buy the campsite thanks to really the generosity and the partnership of the entire community. It's not my success, it's our success.
So good to hear, and we love that you had a dream, and that one of the things that we really promote here is anything your mind can conceive, you actually can achieve. And Theodore Herzl, I believe, was the first one to make that into a really viable quote. Who would have thought? A land of Israel.
Yeah, you dream it, you will it, and then you can make it happen. I definitely mind over matter,
So when you finally get into bed and you go to sleep at night, and you get up, I know, very, very early, but as you're falling asleep, what do you feel? Do you feel a sense of pride? Do you feel a sense of accomplishment?
That's a good question, and I'll answer that by telling you something else. But we were just away on a beautiful, beautiful retreat this weekend. We had 30 young Jewish professionals away. We had a ski weekend up in our campsite near Mount Hotham, and then we went skiing on Sunday. Really wonderful and special. And I left that retreat positively and absolutely inspired, and equally frustrated. And I'll tell you why. Inspired because of what we achieved and what we're doing, but frustrated in terms of how much I feel we could still accomplish and how much more there is to do. And I think when I go to sleep at night, you can't rest on your laurels. You can't just say, yeah, we're doing all right, because as good as we're doing, there's so much more to do. And sometimes your head races and you just want to write down things and get it going. So
lots to do. And
lots to do.
Frustrations a little bit as well?
Frustration in a healthy way. Frustration in terms of a bit of frustration to motivate you to keep going, to keep being
Very
driven.
Nice. We're going to listen to a song that you nominated by Shlomo Carlebach, And which song, one of the songs, we'll talk about it. So a song by Avrohom Fried. And when we come back, you can tell us a little bit about why it's your favorite song. And then also we'll change the pace a little bit.
Sure.
The holy Kotzker Rebbe Sfusse Yogin Olveinu uses would you believe it, a tongue twister to bring us a very important message. If I am I, cause you are you, and you are you, cause I am I, then I am not I, and you are not you. No, if I am I, cause you are you, and you are you, cause I am I, then I am not I, and you are not you. If I am I, cause you are you, and you are you, cause I am I, then I am not I, and you are not you. No, if I am I, cause you are you, and you are you, cause I am I, then I am not I, and you are not you. But if I am I, cause I am I, and you are you, cause you are you, then I am truly I, and you are truly you. Yeah, if I am I, cause I am I, and you are you, cause you are you, then I am truly I, and you are truly you. That's for those of you who love Yiddish. Oh, ich bin ich, weil du bist du, und du bist du, weil ich bin ich, demnach bin ich nicht dich, und du bist nicht du. Nein, oh, ich bin ich, weil du bist du, und du bist du, weil ich bin ich, demnach bin ich nicht dich, und du bist nicht du. Aber ich bin ich, weil ich bin ich, und du bist du, weil du bist du, demnach bin ich ich, und du bist du. Aber ich bin ich, weil ich bin ich, und du bist du, weil du bist du, demnach bin ich ich, und du bist du. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. To be your natural I. The holy Kotzker said it himself. The truest, finest, happiest thing to be is just be yourself. Schäm sich nicht, mit wem du bist. Schäm doch nicht. Der heilige Kotzker geht zu verstehen. Die beste, schönste, feinste Sache zu sein ist, sei sich allein. Aber ich bin ich, weil ich bin ich, und du bist du, weil du bist du. Demnach bin ich ich, und du bist du. But if I am I, cause I am I, and you are you, cause you are you, then I am truly I, and you are truly you. Oh, schäm dich nicht, mit wer du bist. Oh, der heilige Kotzker geht zu verstehen. Die beste, schönste, feinste Sache zu sein ist, sei sich allein. Oh, don't be shy. No, don't be shy. To be your natural I. Just be your natural I. The holy Kotzker said it himself. The truest, finest, happiest thing. Die beste, schönste, feinste Sache. The happiest, truest, finest thing. Da, 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 da.
And welcome back to Lily High on Life with Moshe Kahn, and he's actually a rabbi as well. Moshe, that's my very first Avrohom Fried song, and I love it.
He is a great, great Hasidic singer. Actually, as a matter of fact, I do concerts every year, and the first concert we did in Melbourne that I was part of organising was Avrohom Fried. And true story, hilarious story. We pick him up from the airport, and I'm excited. Avrohom Fried, he was one of my childhood idols, and And I'm like, Avremel, he's known as Avremel, and and he says, I can't sing. And I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, funny. Is that and he said, no, for real. And it was our first concert. We had Hamer Hall. We had about 1,500 people in Hamer Hall in the Arts Center. And all day we went from one doctor to another, he, literally trying everything. And he had really lost his voice on the flight over. And he had to get up on stage, which he did in a true gentleman manner, and tell everyone. My mother always told me to tell the truth. And I can't sing. And two of the most extraordinary things happened. Number one is the community everybody rallied together, and local singers came up. We had Dov Farkas, Chazan Dov Farkas.
Wow.
He sang, and we had a boys' choir. We had Isaac Balbin, who was of Schnaps band. He performed. It was one of the most wonderful, eclectic group heartwarming concert. And then he came back 6 weeks later, and everybody that had a ticket got another. It came back we got the Himmel again, thanks to the Pratt Foundation, and we had an amazing second concert. People got 2 concerts for the price of one.
I love it when things like that come together. So if you haven't heard of him it's Avrohom, Avrohom Fried, Fried. I'm going to be Googling as well. So let's talk a little bit about your family and the family you have and the family you grew up with, because some people really don't understand what it is to be part of generations of Chabad. So you grow up as part of a large family and you create a large family. Talk a little bit about that, and then in the context of the non-religious, non-Chabad people that you see, a little bit of a comparison. So talk about your own childhood growing up first.
So I grew up, as I said, in London. I was born in Amsterdam, but I grew up in London and had a wonderful, warm childhood. And, I think a childhood, when you look back, is made up of friendships. And I look back and I could think of a lot of wonderful... I wasn't always a good boy. I'm sure in my heart I was a good boy, but for my teachers, I wasn't always the easiest and best student.
They're the best stories. Share a couple.
We've got some funny stories. I don't know why this one comes to mind, and I don't know if I should be sharing this on radio.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, my mum wasn't well, and we used to go visit her once in a while in the hospital, and I came to the realization I could miss school, and I have great excuse.
I love it.
So I used to take off quite a few days telling my teachers I went to visit my mum, and that's...
And did you actually visit your mum?
I definitely visited my mum consistently, but there were days when I chose to go touring the sights of London and saw Big Ben quite a few times in Buckingham Palace.
Good on you. You had an entrepreneurial wandering spirit even back then.
I did, but they were fun. They're fun memories, and they were good times.
How many brothers and sisters?
So I am one of 8. I've got 5 brothers and 2 sisters, and literally, my family is otherwise known as the UN, the United Nations, because we live literally all over the world. I've got my oldest brother lives in Israel. I've got a brother who lives in Paris. Then a sister who lives here with me in Melbourne. I've got a brother in London. Another brother in Moscow.
Wow.
A sister in Canada.
How do you manage with so many brothers and sisters in terms of staying in touch, in terms of relationships?
You know what? There's something called WhatsApp, and it's changed the world forever, because today we are literally sharing every minute. I know where all my siblings are, where they're going, if they're walking down the road, what they're seeing, So that's really good. But also what's really special, a lot of my siblings are rabbis and are what we call Chabad Shluchim. And once a year there's a convention in New York, a Shluchim's conference. And we all come together. We rent a little basement together, and we all bond for the weekend, and it's so wonderful.
I've seen videos of those in the past. It is wild. It's not just getting together, but you guys have an amazing time I mean, for me, I can't tell one person from the other because everybody's dressed the same. But you really
one guy's wearing a black hat and
someone else is wearing a darker black hat.
Darker black hat.
But you're having a good time. You really, is it to exchange stories, personal stories and stuff, or to listen to, are there new things that you're taught or given?
There's a few different objectives of a keynote of the conference. It's to educate, and you definitely learn new skill sets. There's a lot of workshops, and there's a lot of new ideas which are communicated, and sort of global initiatives that are embarked on. But I think over and above that, it's really about reconnecting, refocusing, and giving each other what we call in Hebrew chizuk, giving each other strength and camaraderie, and different people sharing their stories and how they cope, how they manage over different situations. And it's really about that brotherhood that we have with one another. And I think over and above what you learn, it's about how we share and how we all belong together. And I think that's the strongest point in the reasoning for the conference.
And it sounds like it's something everybody looks forward to every year as well.
Yeah, 100%. And literally thousands of shluchim, rabbis come from across the entire globe.
Shaliach, shlichim, it comes from the word to send?
Yes, so it was known, the Rebbe started this concept. It was started by the previous Rebbe he had a different name then called Shadar, but the Rebbe called it a shliach. And a shliach is about a messenger who's embarking on a journey. And that's why the Chabad rabbis became known as shluchim, as shliach is singular, shluchim is the plural of it, because they are messengers to spread the light, to spread the Torah, to be a lamplighter. And years bygone, before there was electricity, there was someone's job to go around and kindle the lanterns all around, and that is the mandate that we were given.
It's a great concept. It's a great concept to put into Judaism. So down to brass tacks now. Did you know it was time to get married, or did you meet your wife and fall in love, or was it suggested to you that it might be time?
Well, first of all, if anybody meets my wife, it's instant love. You fall in love with her right away. So how could I not have fallen in love with her?
What's her name?
Her name is Dina.
Okay.
Dina Nee Wolf, now proudly Dina Kahn, for 20 years now. It was a shidduch, which means I was a good bacha, a good student in Sydney, studying in the yeshiva over there, which is the academy over there, studying for my smicha, which is the degree to become a rabbi. And a very dear friend of mine spoke to his aunt here in Melbourne, and he said, I've got this lovely boy, and she said, I've got this lovely girl, and I flew down to Melbourne and met my wife, and the rest is history.
You just clicked from the first time you met?
We clicked from the first time, and
so you've got 4 children now?
I've got 4 children, 3 beautiful boys and 1 sweetheart, amazing girl.
Is she the youngest?
She's the youngest, yes.
Gorgeous. So how do you manage it and juggle it? Because as well as the job that you have to do, there are also many things within the community as well that take up time, and you start very early because your davening or prayer schedule starts daily very early in the morning as well. How do you juggle a family with what you do?
Look, it is a continuous tension, and I'm not going to suggest that it isn't, but I think one of the few things you sort of got to have is that to understand that ultimately family is priority. And, one thing my wife, to her credit, insisted on, and which we do every night, is we all eat dinner together every single night. So I leave work at 6:15 every evening. I go back to work every evening about 7:30. But for that hour, from 6:15 to 7:15, I'm home.
So important.
So important. And, have dinner with the kids, and we talk. And now my kids are already getting older, and they go to bed later than I do. But in years bygone, put them to bed, read them stories, etc. So I think that's one critical element. But I think another thing is I'm fortunate that my work, which is my life to an extent, and my family are a large part of it come together. So when we go on camp, my kids go on camp with me. In our shul, my kids are involved in the shul. So it's not always as if it's, I'm at work and they're not there. They're part of that journey. They're part of my role. And I think that's also important. When we have guests on Shabbat, I think it's important for them to see a beautiful family. So.
Absolutely, and especially when you're dealing with young singles, Jewish professional singles, or even young families, it's important for them to see how your family comes together as well.
Correct. Yeah.
So just back for a moment to when you look at your life and your family, which has been all Chabad immersed, and I'm sure that people that you meet, that you bring into the community, also tell you about their issues and challenges and everything else. Is there something that stands out for you that's different? That not necessarily that you want, because I don't want people to think that your goal is to make everybody Orthodox. If I understand, if they like it, if they're drawn to it, you give them a taste of it. But what do you find is the difference between those of people you know that are in Chabad type environment and those types of people that aren't, that are coming to you to look for something? What is it about their upbringing or the way they're living their lives that they're searching for something like that you've got?
Look, I don't think it's a question of per se what is different or what life is better. I think every human being is God's gift to humanity, and I think every human being is the most precious and unique and beautiful soul. Everybody's searching. Everybody's looking for a point of connectivity. People want to belong to something. People want to feel that they are valued, that they matter. And I think at large, and I wouldn't say that the Orthodox world, needs to address this also, is, do I matter? Do I make a difference? Am I, an active contributor to society? Am I just a taker, or am I giving something back? What is the purpose? Why am I here? What is what do I need to achieve in life? And I think that's something that we all, get confronted with at times, and challenges us and say, what have I achieved today? What am I achieving tomorrow? What's different today? And I think Judaism, Torah, sheds lights on that and gives a purpose, gives a sense of community.
And in fact, I got so excited about the last song that we didn't even really talk about it, which is, it actually addresses what you were just saying.
Yeah, so that song that Avrohom Fried was singing was based on a famous Hasidic Rebbe called the Kotzker Rebbe. He was a giant of a man, and he said, if you're living for other people, then you're not truly living. And it's not, God forbid, can be misunderstood in terms of having an ego or self-centered, but it's about recognizing that you have God-given gifts that only you have. You've got talents that are yours, and you need to utilize and to contribute. Every single, the Baal Shem Tov, and I see you want to play a song, but the great Hasidic master, the Baal Shem Tov, said, every creation of the universe has a purpose. And when the day that you were born, and I want everyone to hear this, the day that someone is born is the day that God says to them, you matter, you make a difference, you have an active part to play.
So much Lily high on life. Morris, please play this next song for us, and we'll talk about that a little more.
שומר עלינו, אוהב אותנו, אבא של כולם. במלחמות שומר עלינו, בנסתרות גם שם איתנו, אבא שלי הוא מלך העולם.
אבא, אבא, שומר עלינו, הוא אוהב אותנו, הוא אבא של כולם. במלחמות שומר עלינו, בנסתרות גם שם איתנו, אבא שלי הוא מלך העולם.
And welcome back to Lily High on Life with Moshe Kahn, who also happens to be a rabbi and part of Chabad, who are all about life and joy and celebrating. And another wonderful song called Abba by Avrohom Fried. Just beautiful. I'm definitely Googling him and subscribing on YouTube.
Great.
Thank you.
He's a great singer with a great spirit and great heart.
Thank you for introducing him to all of us, actually. I had somebody texting me asking me about it as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So thank you. So I want to move into just a couple of other areas of life, because it's wonderful to talk about being high on life and always having this wonderful good feeling, and I believe that you always can. But there are sometimes things come into our lives to test us, and sometimes those things are relationships, sometimes those things are illnesses, sometimes those things are people that we're associated with. You personally, and it seems it was around the same time that you moved to Melbourne, or just after you moved to Melbourne, had a cancer scare.
Yeah, unfortunately, back in 2001, yes, I had Hodgkin's lymphoma, and wasn't a pleasant experience. But
did you know what it was when you were diagnosed?
Not in detail, no. No, I didn't know all the specifics of what it was, but the internet's very...
too good.
Too good to a very good place to, or maybe not a very good place, but it's definitely a place that's, enables you to read up on it.
How did it affect you personally in your head?
Look, it's a long time ago, and there's a lot of ups and downs, and I've got sort of different memories associated with different days. There's definitely some days of fear, and there's definitely some days of unknown and what's going to be, and the doctors sometimes could scare you. The doctors are also very hopeful and very optimistic, but in terms of you get different perspectives in different days, and the word cancer is it's got a scary connotation to it. But
Were you the way you were relating to those people around you that loved you, and there are a lot of them in your family, and what you were thinking in your head, were you really sharing your thoughts and your fears? Or also where I'd like you to talk about also is that you have a very strong faith in God to be doing what you're doing and to be in Chabad. And did that help? Did you question it? Was it a time of that changed you and who you were going through something like that?
I think every experience changes you. I don't think there is an experience, extreme or not extreme, that doesn't have an impact on your life and dictate nearly, if you like, how you move forward. Faith definitely played a part and plays a part in my life every day. But I think ultimately a very, very dear friend and a mentor and teacher and rabbi, his name was Rabbi Groner. You might remember Rabbi Groner.
I remember
Senior.
Rabbi Groner well.
And I was sort of had everything bottled up inside, and then I did go see him, and he had this ability, and I literally cried on his shoulder, and I think at that moment, if you like, there was a moment of strength and a moment of transformation. And I think in every situation that someone finds himself, I think you could go through a stage of maybe self-pity and, wallowing in your sorrow and feeling bad for yourself. And then it was a pivotal change, and I remember that moment where we're going to get through this and come out better and stronger. And
self-realization, something he said?
I don't think it was even, to be honest with you, it wasn't anything specifically that he said. It was more about a feeling that I'm here. And, And you
got the all clear.
The all clear, and I'm well, thank God, and I'm healthy, and I've, 100%, yes.
And that moment when you realized that it was gone and that you no longer had cancer?
Yeah, it's funny because it's something that still plays in your head. Unfortunately, it came back a couple of years later, and it's something that plays in your head in terms of there's always that sort of in the back of your head, can it come back, or is there that chance? But you know what? I think in life you can't focus on the negative, you've got to focus on the good. And I look back at that experience with all my heart and soul, and I have no remorse, I've no regret about it. It's not something that I wish on myself or wish on anyone, but having gone through in chemo and radiotherapy, it's something that I feel now I have a grasp and understanding for, and a feeling for what it is. And
so when it came back the second time, it was different for you?
It was different, yeah. Same
kind of cancer?
It was, yeah.
And you beat it again?
I did. And listen, in life, they have a cynical saying, which what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But I don't love that saying. What I love is focus on the good. I've got a great life, thank God. I've got 4 beautiful children. I've got a dear wife.
And you're doing such amazing, exciting things, and some that you haven't even thought of. And I thank you for sharing. I did ask permission before bringing it up, because there are so many people that go through this and they see it as a final thing that is never going to happen. And the fact that you came through it twice and that you have such a blessed and wonderful life is really what Lily High on Life is all about. It's not what happens to you, it's how you react to it. And it's change your attitude, change your life.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And it's something which may not sound very rabbinic, but I say this every day, and I say to God, you're not going to take me down so easily. So
I love those
believe in yourself, because you guys out there in the world are awesome, and you have more power than you could ever imagine and more strength than you could ever believe. And the biggest issue today, maybe you're asking about the biggest